Hi everyone! Last week I finished my sketchbook, so it's time to start a new one. And I'm actually really excited because I wanted to try this sketchbook for a while. This is MOLESKINE Art Collection Watercolor Notebook, and it has really nice thick double-sided watercolor paper. Generally, I really love this sketchbook, but it has a few cons. The pages have this yellow tint and they are not completely white, which is always the case with Moleskine sketchbooks, at least in my experience, and it's also really expensive. I bought it for 17 euros and it's the most expensive sketchbook that I ever bought. Because of the price of the sketchbook, I felt really pressured to start it beautiful and perfect, and I completely failed. Another con of this sketchbook is that it doesn't really lay completely flat, which is not a big deal if you're not drawing in spreads or you don't really post your art on social media. In my case, I do, so I had to try and tape down the sketchbook so it would lay as flat as possible. But the quality is actually like extremely nice, and I especially like the binding of this sketchbook. It's binded by a thread. It feels really nice quality and the pages definitely won't fall out. Also, it has like rounded corners, which I think it's like a nice touch, and it also has this pretty leather cover. I'm not sure if it's like real leather or fake leather. I love this sketchbook, but one of my biggest problems was the price. And with the price comes the pressure of not wanting to waste your money. And it's not always like a feeling that you're wasting your money because your art is not perfect or it's not beautiful enough for the sketchbook. I already have enough experience in making art that I understand that it's not going to be always perfect and beautiful just the way that I want it to be, because I don't have enough skills to make it perfect as I imagine, so I don't have any like illusions that it's going to be amazing, but I kind of feel restrained by the price still, because like I've been using the sketchbook for a few days now since I recorded this footage of me starting it, and I feel like I'm wasting the sketchbook if I just want to come up with ideas and sketch like rough sketches and do thumbnails and things like that, which is kind of a big part of my process if I want to make original art and not like do studies and things like that. It takes up a lot of page space for me to sketch a lot of like different thumbnails, different angles that I'm thinking of drawing the object, and it just feels like I'm wasting the sketchbook, and it basically I think it's too expensive for this purpose. So I might have to buy like another sketchbook or use another one that I already own to come up with ideas and use it for sketching thumbnails and things like that. Another thing that I'm not sure if I made the best decision for choosing this sketchbook to be as like my primary one where I do most of the sketching and work is not just about the price, but also like the mediums that I usually prefer. Like I love using gouache and watercolor, and this is basically why I chose to buy a watercolor notebook and not that croquet's, I guess, like a thin paper one. But the downside is that I'm not sure if I will want to use like alcohol markers in this sketchbook, because alcohol marker ink is expensive and it really depends on the paper that you use if your markers like run out quickly, and watercolor paper is really absorbent and it absorbs a lot of like liquids and things like that. So I haven't tried it yet with alcohol markers, but I will definitely try to use it in the future and see if it's like really bad, if the paper absorbs too much ink and if it's like too hard for me to blend out. So yeah, I'm really curious about that. And to use it for watercolors and gouache, this paper is like perfect. It's not too thick, it's not like 300 GSM, it's 200 GSM, so it's not too thick for a sketchbook. This sketchbook is not like too bulky. It's pretty convenient size to carry around with you. Also, I really like the rubber band around it, so it closes completely and it's not going to wear down a lot in my like bag and it's going to hold up pretty well. At least that's what can I say now. I'm not sure how it will look in the future. If it's going to tear or wear, I'm not sure. For watercolors, this paper is awesome. As you can see, when I started the sketchbook, I really wanted to try like different kind of techniques of using watercolor. It was really nice for lifting them up, like you could lift watercolor pretty easily from this paper, and also it handled layering pretty well. The texture of the paper is kind of like cold pressed. It's pretty textured, but not as textured as I'm used to it, so I kind of like it. It's not like extremely textured, but it has like that cold pressed texture. I think it has some cotton in it, but I'm not really experienced with cotton paper. I have tried like 100% cotton paper before, and I don't really see the difference between this Moleskine sketchbook paper and that 100% cotton paper. Maybe I would see it if I like try them side by side, but this paper is like amazing. It doesn't buckle, it handles water pretty well. Like it buckled in some places where I made a mistake of putting too much water, but when it dried there was like minimal buckling. It's like amazing paper for watercolor. And like a few days later I used gouache in the sketchbook and it also worked amazingly. And it's like really nice to work in layers. I'm not really happy how the first page turned out. It's definitely not the best that I have ever did, but it's still pretty nice, I would say. Like, I'm not mad about it. I especially like the plants that I drew, and also like those little peaches. I'm not sure if those are actually peaches, because when I started drawing them, I wanted to draw some kind of tree seeds. Like recently I've been seeing a lot of like small seeds, and they are like a little bit transparent, like half transparent, so I started to draw them. But then I realized that they kind of look like peaches, so I made them look a little bit more like peaches, and now it's like kind of like those seeds and peaches in one place. I'm sorry if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's just that I don't know enough of the trees like and their seeds to tell you how they look like. I don't know. Maybe I will insert the photo of the seeds so you maybe will understand what I'm talking about. Because I felt really pressured, I had to use like reference. I used the reference for the girl, and I also used the reference for leafy plant, like which has a lot of leaves. I definitely took more creative freedom. I didn't completely copy the reference, and I felt kind of sad because I wasn't really happy with anything that I drew that day. But right now when I'm looking at it, it's like not that bad. I'm not sure why I felt so bad about it. So yeah, tell me what you think in the comments, and would you buy the sketchbook? Do you like how I started the sketchbook? I'm not sure myself if I would buy it again, but I will definitely use it, and maybe while I use it, I will start to love it even more, or maybe the cons of the sketchbook won't be that big of a deal anymore. So I'm not sure, but yeah, tell me what you think in the comments, and also like this video and subscribe to my channel if you're a new viewer and you enjoyed watching this video. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!